We are both a middle school and a high school. So what's gonna happen today is you're gonna get to meet several different administrators that you'll be working with come the new school year. We're gonna tell you more about the school, give you some details, and give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you might have. But before we get started, just give me 1 second. Si hay algunos padres aquí que hablan español o entienden español, nuestra compañera está haciendo la misma presentación arriba. Entonces, si quieres aprender la presentación en español, puedes subir tu mano y ir con ella atrás, que ella te va a llevar. Ok, ¿puedes subirte? Sí. Después que termina, si tienes más preguntas, puedes ir a la oficina para que nosotros te podamos ayudar. Okay? That was for our Spanish-speaking families. We wanted them to also have the opportunity to get the same information that you're getting in their native language. And so we'll give them an opportunity to head upstairs before we go ahead and get started. Okay, great. Can everyone hear me okay? Can you hear me? Jaden, can you hear me back there? Okay, great. I want to make sure you can all hear. We don't have any microphones with us today. If you're having trouble, you can always come more closer to the front if you'd like. Completely up to you. Right before we begin the introductions, I want to show you a quick video that will give you an overview of OCS, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so we'll just scratch the video since it's not working at the moment, but you can also catch the video online. So I am Ms. Vasquez, and I'm the admission supervisor here at Opportunity Charter School. A lot of you that have been going through the enrollment process have been working either with myself or Ms. Coleman, who will be introducing herself shortly. So anytime you call the office and you call the school phone number, you're talking to Ms. Coleman. Anytime you call the 646 number, you are calling me directly. And so we are the ones in charge of walking you through the process to get into Opportunity Charter School. I'm going to go ahead and have my fellow colleagues introduce themselves. And before I do, who is here that's going into middle school? Any students going into middle school? That's 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Okay, fantastic. How about high school? High school? All right, 2 families for high school. Okay, excellent. So we're going to give you information over our middle school as well as our high school. Okay, so Laura.
Hi, I'm Laura. I am a school aide at Opportunity Charter School. I concentrate in the admissions department as Ms. Vasquez's liaison. I've been working here for the last 4 years. I'm also an alumni of the school. I came in 2004 when the school first opened. I graduated in 2011, went to a four-year college, and now I'm here. I also serve as the girls' basketball coach, along with the assistant to the athletic director here as well.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ms. Hazel. Sorry, one second. Ms. Hazel, I am the assistant principal of the high school. I oversee the social studies department, the art department, and the music department. I also coach the track and field athletics team. This year we actually won. I keep telling everyone this, and I'm very proud of this. We won the championship for the female, and we came second for the men. This is my 5th year here. I started as a history teacher, and I moved up to assistant principal last year. And I'm so excited to have you guys here today.
Thank you, Ms. Hazel.
think 9 years this year, almost 10 years. Okay. What else? Okay, so yeah, hopefully you will get me, but you will get my number, my email. If you have any thoughts, concerns, I know that sometimes your children are more easy to say something to you than they will to me. So I'm here to keep them safe. So if there's any safety concerns, I will be the person you will contact.
Thank you, Ms. D. And Ms. Chandler.
I am Ms. Chandler. I'm the assistant principal. I started here 14 years ago when I was 13 years old. The math ain't mathing, but I'm also the head of the math department for middle school and high school, so I do know how to do a little bit of the numbers. I started here as a teacher assistant, and then special education teacher, a math teacher, and algebra teacher. I taught most grades and a lot of different subjects, so I am going by Mrs. OCS this year. I was the high school assistant principal for 2 years, especially while we were remote, and then I just started my second year as middle school principal. I'm so glad to meet you guys, and I am pro middle school all the way. But if you're a high school parent and you have a question, Ms. Hazel and I know the same things also. So, just like Ms. D, I give my phone number to all adults, and I also give my phone number to all the kids. And they will call, they will text. They had a question about something. There seems to be no uniform. This person said this, or they search on social media. It shouldn't be. And I'll pass it on, we'll communicate to say, this looks unsafe, let's go ahead and jump in there. So we stay as a family, stay communicating with everybody. Nice to meet you guys.
Thank you. And Ms. Marquis, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm the head of school.
And Ms. Finley, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm school psychologist, and I supervise the social workers here at Varsity School. I'm not sure if it's already been mentioned, but there is a social worker for every grade, and social workers follow the students through each grade. So the same social worker who starts with your student in 6th grade will move with them until they graduate. Really wonderful aspect of OCS is a lot of social workers who have really close relationships with their students and families. If you have any social emotional concerns for your student, please do not hesitate to reach out to your grade level social worker or to myself. We will do everything we can to make sure that your social emotional needs are met. Also, if your student has an IEP and on that IEP is counseling, that will be they will receive the counseling from their grade level social worker. Also, if your student does not have an IEP, but you are interested in them receiving counseling, again, please reach out to your grade level social worker or myself. Welcome, and it's so wonderful to have you.
Great. So you have got the opportunity to meet many of our staff members. So for those of you that will be joining us in September, these are the familiar faces that will be working with you. If you are in middle school, that is your middle school principal. If you are in high school, that is your high school assistant principal, and so on and so forth. So now we're going to go ahead and start talking about the school itself. So OCS was founded in 2004 by Mr. Goldberg, who was a special education teacher. And he believed that every student can be successful as long as they're given those tools to be successful. And that is our foundation. We take the whole student approach. The social emotional, by having a social worker for every single grade. And you might be thinking, okay, like my child doesn't need to see a social worker. But the beautiful part about that is the social worker is a point of contact for your child and for you as well. And what's really special about that is when they join us in 6th grade or 9th grade or 8th grade, it's the same person throughout their entire career. So they really truly get to know your child. They really truly get to have that relationship with your child and with you as well. Another great part is, let's say you notice a change in your child's behavior, or you're concerned about something, or there's been a tragedy in the family, you can actually talk to that social worker and ask her to check in on your child. The social worker is there for everyone in the entire grade. So those are one of the things that was really important to Mr. Goldberg, to be able to have that foundation and address the social emotional. We also have a school culture team that Ms. D is going to be talking about further as we get into the representation, but we are so blessed and fortunate to have them be part of here, and they address the school culture themselves. And then we also have a team of learning specialists as well. So if your child has an IEP is an individualized education plan. All it is for students that need extra help learning. It's just a guide that explains how the student can be successful. So whether that's extended time reading, whether that's breaks during an exam, whether that's being in a smaller classroom, that's exactly what an IEP does. It's just a guide for how that child learns so that they can be the most successful. So we have an entire team that focuses on your child receiving those services. So those three things alone make OCS very, very special, and that was the foundation that was very important for him to build, and which is why we have such a great high graduation rate that we're going to be talking about. Okay, and then some general facts about OCS. Because we are a charter school, that means that our funding both comes from the DOE, because we are authorized by the Department of Education, but also private funders through our Board of Trustees. And that's how we're able to have the support that we have here at our school, with the social worker for every grade, the school culture team, so many staff members. This is the kind of place where everyone will know your student's name. They will not fall through the cracks. They will not get lost. It really has that family environment due to all the support that we provide to your families. We have about a 97% African American and Hispanic ratio, and more than 50% of our students are students with IEPs, special education services, or that struggle academically. Our graduation rate was 92% last year. We haven't received the new numbers yet for June, but for last year, 92%. And then for students that have IEPs, so those individualized education plans, 89%, which is much higher than the city standard, because we have so much support for our students to ensure their academic success. As far as our school day, so our school day begins at 8 a.m., but the child is allowed to come as early as 7:30 for breakfast. Okay, so if you want a child to have breakfast, 7:30 will be the time, but classes do begin promptly at 8 a.m., and they end at about 3 p.m. Monday through Thursdays. Friday is a half day. Fridays is from 9 to 12. And then during the afternoon, staff members have professional development during that time. We do understand that many parents may think, wait, I don't want my child leaving so early in the afternoon. We have established in the past an after-school program that begins at that time on Fridays, so that your child can stay here for longer. And we'll be talking more about after school and athletics in just a little bit. Classes are about 57 minutes long per period. There is a lunch period, separate middle school and separate high school. So even though we are one school in the sense that we are 6 through 12, our students dine separately for middle school, and they dine separately for high school as well. The other thing, as far as transportation is concerned, the easiest way to get here is going to be the 2-3 or the BC to 116 or 110th, because we're located right in the middle on 113th Street. Now, if you are closer to the 6 train, it is a further walk for your child, but there is a bus, the M16, that will take them directly over, which is nice. But I highly recommend BC 2-3 will be by far the best way to get here. And then lastly, we are using a system called Infinite Campus. That is our student database system. Why is this important? It's very important for you because when your student is enrolled here, you will receive a login. And through that system, you'll be able to track your child's grades, their homework assignments, their attendance, communicate with teachers. In the event that you need to update your phone number or your email address or your address, all of that can be done directly through that portal. And we encourage all of our parents to be active, log in there at least once a week and just check in, because you never know. It's so helpful to have an idea and not just wait until parent-teacher conference comes around, and knowing that how your kids are doing academically. We do also share the building with 2 other schools. Those other 2 schools are elementary schools. So the public school in the building, because this is a DOE building, are PS 240, and then Harlem Success, which is another elementary school within the building. We occupy the 3rd and 4th floor of the building, and right after this, we'll take you on a tour so you can see what the school looks like for yourself. We recently just started having people actually come in person, so we're really excited that you could be here today, and we are live streaming it for those families that could not be here on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. So we do share the auditorium, we share the schoolyard, and we share the cafeteria, but everything is arranged separately, so we do not run into the other schools while we're here. We have separate entrances, but overall, we are the big kids in the building, so our kids know to definitely lead by example. Now, these are our uniforms, okay? So for middle school, if you're coming in 6th grade, 7th grade, or 8th grade, these are the colors, which is a wine burgundy top, and then the pants, skirt, or long shorts, knee length, would be khaki color, that light beige, light brown khaki color. As far as where can you get the uniforms, you have a couple of options. You can buy the polo shirts, so the shirts with the collars on them, Target or Navy, Children's Place, as long as they're in the school colors. That's the most important part. Same with the pants. The other option is we also sell the patch, the OCS logo. You can buy it from our parent organizer, who I just realized didn't get a chance to introduce herself, so I'll make sure that that happens. But you can iron it on, you can sew it on, and then lastly, you can actually purchase it from the uniform company. Those are your 3 options. We do not require that you purchase it from the uniform company. We just require that you actually have the school colors, minimum. As far as foot gear, we do not mandate any color when it comes to foot gear or book bags, socks. We don't have any mandates on that per se. And Ms. Dee will be talking a little bit more about that when she speaks. Now, if you're in high school, my high school students, you have actually more flexibility, okay? Your colors are gray, black, or white. They can be polos, they can be button downs, and then as far as the pants go, they can be either gray or black. So those are your options. This is also located on our website under uniforms. So I pretty much went over this for the most part and what makes OCS so special, the social worker for every grade, the team of learning specialist, and I'm going to bring Ms. D so she can actually talk a little bit more about the school culture.
Again, I'm Ms. D. I'm going to talk about a few non-negotiables. We are cell phone-less school because cell phones are the main source of a lot of safety concerns and issues. Hence the reason why you guys will have everyone's contact information. If you ever need to speak to your child in the class, in the emergency, we are all available. We can pull them out. You guys can talk to them. Also, a non-negotiable is bullying. Again, like your children will be more easy to talk to you guys. If you have any concerns regarding bullying online in school, I would love for you guys to reach out to me so I can get on top of that. We also have the uniform. You guys can have sweaters over the uniform shirts, solid black, gray, or white sweaters, high school. Middle school, solid burgundy, maroon, sweaters on top, solid, no writing, no pictures, no hoodies for uniforms. Also, no slippers, no Crocs, no Uggs that look like slippers. Anything that can create an unsafe environment. We need whole shoes. We need to be laced up, strapped up somehow. We transition all together, so if someone steps on the back of your child's shoe, they're going to come right out of them, and you know what happens from here.
like to add about the school culture team that I think is very special to OCS is that we have a school culture team member for pretty much each grade. So upstairs, when you go upstairs, you'll see a desk station at the end of the hallway. That is to make sure that students have their bathroom passes, that they're in class, that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And what's truly special about that is that in the event that a student is acting out in class and the teacher is not able to redirect them, the school culture team member will talk to that student and figure out what exactly is the root of why the acting out is occurring. It could be anything from the child hasn't had breakfast or they didn't have dinner from the night before and they're really, really hungry. It could be they don't understand the material or they can't see the board. It could be that there's a student that's bothering them. It could be that something horrible happened at home. There's a variety of reasons why a child necessarily acts out. So that school culture team member will figure out what the root of what it is. If it's breakfast, they'll get them breakfast. If it's something academic related, they can refer to a learning specialist. If it's something social emotional, they can refer to the social worker. This way the class is able to continue on with instruction, and this way that child is able to get any sort of services or assistance that are needed specific to what the problem is. And that is, again, one of the special things that Mr. Goldberg wanted to address, like not just the academics, but the social emotional as well. The school culture team members also are the first ones in the building and usually the last ones, so they're greeting your students when they come in the morning, and then when the students are also during dismissal, they're outside ensuring that they leave the school grounds when they're supposed to. And that wraps it up. I like to share that because I believe that's really special, and so. Now, if your child has an IEP or receives any special education services, this is in particular important because for students that have self-contained, specifically 12 to 1, which means 12 students and 1 teacher in the classroom for middle school, and in high school that then translates to 15 to 1, which means 15 students to 1 teacher. If your child has that setting, we do offer that in ELA and in mathematics, but we do not offer that in science and social studies. So the science and social study classes would be ICT classes, which are known as integrative collaborative teaching classes, where there's 2 teachers, a gen ed teacher, and a special education teacher. So we do offer all 4 subjects as ICT, but when it comes to self-contained, it's only ELA and mathematics. We do offer all of the other related services, so occupational therapy, speech therapy, as well as the annual IEP meetings, because every year, if you have an IEP, it gets evaluated every single year, so we host those usually in-house, and the families attend either via Zoom or phone, and we always encourage the students to attend as well, because we believe it's very important for the students to understand what it is that serves them to be successful and to advocate for what those things are that they need to be successful. So those IEP meetings are held here. And then lastly, when it comes to busing, if your child already has busing on their IEP, then they will receive busing while they're here at OCS as well.
All right, so the curriculum in middle school and it's not the same way in high school. In middle school, we have a tiered system for intervention. So our students may struggle with, foundation skills in math or in ELA. I've never seen a kid say, "Hey, miss, I'm struggling with this. Look at me, let's hold attention on me. I need help with this." They're not going to say anything. They may tell someone on the side, different things like that. Our intervention programs are set up to work individually for a student. So for example, in math, we all could be in the same Alice class, but I struggle with fractions. When I've taken my knowledge check, the computer realizes I need more support in fractions, but she might need decimals. Someone will need something else, but we can all be in the same classroom because I also have the support of the teacher to help the program teach me these things. The goal is foundation skills, strengthen them up in the intervention class so that when they're in their core math class, when they're in core ELA class, they're able to proceed on grade level and get beyond grade level. You'll notice that in our intervention for the tiers for ELA, we have 1644,
who struggle to coding, 318 students who struggle with comprehension, and enrichment. Enrichment is a class because once your child is on grade level, we want to push them. We believe that they need to continue on and moving on. So they will be looking at different things that will help them with writing when they are in high school or writing for the regions in high school. But we want to continue to not just get our kids to be on grade level and say you're doing just what you're supposed to be doing. We want to go ahead and push them to keep going on and moving better and forward. Our special classes in 8th grade, our students do take Spanish. It alternates with the Ict class. At this point, it's the only language that we offer. But our students have said that they find it beneficial because of our students coming from either the Harlem community or the Bronx community that they thrive in Spanish class. We're offering art and music to 6th and 7th graders, alternating with the PE classes. And we have youth communications, which we do 6 through 12. Youth communications is a social emotional program. Trying to cut in? Youth communications is a social emotional program that we actually started prior to being remote learning and prior to COVID. We actually found that it worked before COVID, and then it played a huge part while we were remote. We believe that a child's social emotional health is just as important as academics. Some students feel, I used to feel as a kid, go to my mom, that you're just pushing me academically, you're not worrying about how does it make me feel, how am I feeling inside, am I able to communicate with my peers, am I okay emotionally? We know that the students, while they were remote, they lack a lot of social interactions with their friends. Some students don't know how to have a conversation because sitting through a Zoom, you don't realize it, but it's I talk, then you talk. It's not a normal conversation. That's not natural how it flows. So students have slipped behind in different social settings. In our particular classes, for example, when I was an algebra teacher, I had a group, and I was so upset when I got my group. I had a boys group, and the groups are set up by gender, so kids would feel comfortable with their peers. I got a boys group. Clearly, I'm not a male and do not know how to raise a young man. At that point, my son was younger than he is now. I don't know how to do this. I can't relate to them. They can't relate to me. This makes absolutely no sense. To this day, it is absolutely positively has been my favorite class. Those kids just graduated 3 weeks ago, and we know each other on a different level. I know how they are in math. I know how they are in ELA, but I know who they are as people and what they value in life and the issues that affect young men out in the world and in Harlem and in the Bronx and their commutes. What they see and what I don't see. We had laughs, we had jokes. I can't tell you any of them because it is a confidential class. So when kids are in the class, they know, they make their own bonds and their own agreement that this is what we're going to say in this class. We feel comfortable in this class. We feel safe in this class. But I heard about this on the news. Is this going to affect us? How does that work? Is this going to affect me personally? They feel safe to address it in that particular class. If there's something, of course, that is alarming, self-harm, or anything like that, of course, we're all mandated to let you know. But you'll notice that your child will tell you, like, I'm enjoying this particular class. They won't tell you what's happening. If they do, let me know. But you'll notice that they are flourishing academically as well as socially. So that is just a little snapshot of the middle school program, but also things that we do continue throughout 10th and 12th grade.
We are going to be talking about athletics and after-school programs, but do you have any academically related questions for Ms. Chandler now about the middle school? Okay, so we will do this here. Okay, so now we're going to talk about our high school. So Ms. Hazel, would you like to?
Okay, sorry. So yes, our system is pretty much the same as the middle school in certain aspects. We have a regular scheduled high school courses, the way most high schools do, but there are certain special programs that we have, like the Microsoft certification program, which I think is super duper cool because everything is computerized and everything is going towards computers. And students can actually come to school, take their regular high school classes, coursework, and still be certified in Microsoft. So they leave the high school with a certification in Microsoft, which is super beneficial for any job that they go into moving forward after graduating high school. The other program we have is the OCS internship program, which allows students to intern outside of the community. And usually the students have a say in this, so they pick internships that align with what it is that they want to do when they leave high school, and it aligns with whatever career university and you're looking for any sort of employment, the medical field is where it's at, right? And so a lot of students get that opportunity to work in the field before they leave high school and they have that extra experience being in that program. And the last one is the College Now Partnership, and I must say I'm not too familiar with that program, but it is run by our counselor, Ms. Finger, who is in the building during the school year. She's not here in the summer. But you can reach out to her and she can tell you exactly what that program is about, but it's also super beneficial for the high school students, or the students coming into high school.
Yeah, so just to expand on College Now Ms. Finger, that's solely for high school students, and that depends on your PSAT scores and your English scores. And the current school is City College. And what's neat is that child is taking college level classes while they are a high school student. So they'll go into college with those credits. And just something else that's really cool about the GCD program, it's a big commitment. So if your child is interested in the medical field, it's actually a 3-year commitment. It starts in 10th grade, but what that program does is it provides your child a stipend to participate. It also provides Metro cards for travel. It provides SAT prep. It provides homework help. On top of, it partners with a geriatric home, that's a senior citizen's home, where they're getting that hands-on bedside manner experience. It also teaches them like phlebotomy and things like that, so that when they actually graduate that program after the 3 years, they graduate with a certificate as a nurse's assistant. So that's a great experience to have before heading over to college if someone's interested in that. Now, as far as when it comes to high school graduation, we follow what the New York standards are. So that's 44 credits to graduate and 5 Regents exams. Ms. Finger, who is our high school guidance counselor, she keeps track of exactly what your student needs to graduate. It's usually like 4 years of English, and she has a spreadsheet, and she shares that immediately when your child comes in 9th grade. So your child is aware, okay, I need these classes this semester so I can get these credits and graduate on time. This is also shared with you as well, and every single parent-teacher conference, you will review it. If you want to see it outside of parent-teacher conference, you can just ask for access to the sheet. But we really encourage our parents to stay involved. If your child is taking Algebra 1, let's just say in 9th grade, it's usually broken up into A and B. First semester is A, second semester is B. If your child does not pass A or B and we're offering it during summer school, we try our best to offer classes so that our students can stay on grade level when it comes to those classes. So right now we have a couple of students actually taking summer school to be able to keep up with their grade. And as far as colleges, our students go to colleges anywhere from SUNY, CUNY, upstate, downstate, private, public, 2-year, 4-year. So SUNY Rockport, for example, Buffalo State. We've had students go down to Florida, and anywhere from, Laura, where did you go? Potsdam, right? Yep, she went to Potsdam. And then we have BMCC, Manhattan College, different schools like that. But Ms. Finger is the one that works with your child on the entire college application process.
So outside of the school day, we do offer after-school programs. So we have both our athletics and the non-athletic side. So I'll start with the athletic side. So Harvard Athletics, it runs all school year, so from the fall into the spring. We offer co-ed along with girls and boys sports. So for the fall, don't forget, we offer track and field co-ed for middle school and high school. We also offer flag football for our students and volleyball. So that runs in the fall. And then in the winter, we have basketball. I coach girls basketball 6th through 12th grade. Right now, there's not enough for just middle school or high school, so we have a combination team that is in the league. We won 3 championships. We have boys middle school basketball, and then we have varsity high school boys basketball and junior varsity basketball as well. So that runs in the winter. A question I got earlier is, do we cut kids? I think that varies. For example, if we're talking about high school varsity, so that's your 11th and 12th graders, is very competitive. A lot of students do try out for that, and oftentimes we're limited due to the league in terms of how many students we can have on a team. So that's more competitive in terms of skill set. So there might be a couple of cuts. Junior varsity is a little different. We're still, we take most of the kids, but it's still competitive. For my girls, I don't cut any of them. If I was to cut a student, it's really because I give the expectation I had when I went to play college basketball, which is you need to maintain your grades. I'll let them know their progress in terms of, hey, you're messed up right now in math, like what's going on. I've held study halls for them. If it's behavioral, where it's not affecting just the team, but also during the school day, I'll give them several warnings, and then that's it. I have to cut them. So I treat them, how to set them up for if they want to play college basketball or just in general to have that expectation. It's a privilege to play a sport. You're a student before you're an athlete. So a lot of our coaches do emphasize that because the coaches we have who are teachers or me, we take that seriously. That's our passion, so we want to help them grow with that. And then for the spring, we offer track and field again. We this year offered volleyball. We have girls volleyball, softball for girls, and baseball for boys. Unfortunately, that's only offered right now for high school only. And yeah, we also encourage, if we don't offer a sport that your child wants to play, to definitely let one of the coaches know or the PE teachers who we can start interest group. Hopefully make that into a sport we offer. But we have to have enough people in order to make the team. So that's it for our athletic side. And then just for our regular after school program, we do offer tutoring. So oftentimes teachers, if they're not in professional development, they hold office hours where they'll have time to help students with their homework or get a better understanding on the lesson they had during the day if they need extra help. We also have the anime club. That's one of our popular clubs that students like to partake in. We have a gaming club that's also popular, so students would come together and play different games. We have household science, so basically that's students learning how to make, for example, like volcanoes at home. So you can use like powder, vinegar, and kind of stuff that you can have at home to make, science like things, along with digital animation and video game coding. So that's our after school.
Okay, so we are nearing the end of telling you about Opportunity Charter School. Admission. So again, that is what Laura and I do here at OCS. We are the ones that work with you through that process. Because we are a charter school, we are based on a lottery system. And to enter that lottery, parents fill out an application. That is for all charter schools across the board. We all share the same application deadline, and then we vary in when we host our lotteries. Obviously, the dates have already passed behind us. If you have not applied, you can still apply. There are certain grades where we do have some space to accept students, because we do accept students in grade 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11th grade. So if you haven't applied, we definitely encourage you to apply. If you have already applied and you're on the wait list, do not worry. We do use the wait list, and we go down the wait list every 2 weeks until we fill up our seats. That is how that works. And now if you are accepted, we have an enrollment process. Okay, it's very important to distinguish the difference between being accepted and completing the enrollment process. We have had families in the past that have been accepted in the lottery in April, and we've sent them the paperwork. And keep in mind, we do contact you probably at least 5 to 7 times to make sure we get the paperwork to see if you want to enroll. And if you do not complete the enrollment process, your student is not our students, because the enrollment process includes giving us a birth certificate, your proof of address, a physical, the immunization records, your final report card, and the IEP. When we get those documents, we review the IEP to make sure that we can provide all of the services that are needed. We need the final report card, very, very important, because I cannot tell you how many times a parent applies for the incorrect grade. This is a fact, it may not be you, but it does happen. And so we need the report card to make sure that it's the correct grade, and if the child has been promoted. Sometimes the child is left back or retained. If they're retained in 8th grade and they were supposed to go into 9th grade, but we have space in 8th grade, we will still accept them. But if they are in 5th grade going to 6th grade, then we start in 6th grade, we cannot help you there. Once we receive that enrollment paperwork, we also send you an assessment for your child to take in reading and phonics. It's very important that your child takes this assessment on a computer, in a quiet area, and or with headphones, because the phonics part has to deal with sounds and pronunciation. They need to hear that part very clearly. And something Ms. Chandler mentioned earlier that I want to make sure that you're aware too, is please do not help your child with this assessment. This is what they use to provide the scheduling for your child. We don't want to put them in the incorrect class where they're not understanding the material. It's really important you let them take the assessment. It's not an entrance exam whatsoever.
It's not timed either. So your child doesn't need to feel pressure. It's not time. They can take breaks if they want to do that stuff.
Yeah. So in case you didn't hear, it's not a timed assessment. Okay, there's no pressure. We need that so we know what classes to put your child in. So again, completing the enrollment process is giving us that paperwork so that we can enter your child into our student database, completing that assessment so that they can put your child in the schedule, and they can have a schedule for September. We will be having a new student orientation. The dates have not been finalized yet, but they will be sometime in September, and we will let you know when that student orientation occurs. Are there any questions about OCS, about enrollment, or anything like that? Yeah? Okay, it's about lunch. What Ms. D explained, so middle school, the students can only go to the schoolyard. That is the extent of lunch. The cafeteria, the schoolyard, that's it. 9th and 10th grade, same. Unless you are on honor roll, high honor roll, to be able to leave is a privilege. And so 9th and 10th graders can only do that if they reach honor roll, high honor roll. And then 11th and 12th grade is when they can go off school grounds.
If you do not want your 9th or 10th grader or 11th or 12th grader going out to the bodega or Strangers Restaurant or for lunch, you can make sure that you let us know. My child is not allowed, even though they may honor roll, they're not allowed to go out because I want them out.
So, yeah, can I ask a question? I sent y'all an IEP for my son, but it was due June 17th, and they didn't get it, so I don't know.
Yeah, so we can talk to you afterwards, or I can help you out with that. Yeah, she'll help you out with that.
Yes, about the application that I said, you guys will receive it.
You didn't receive the application?
No, he said he sent it. He wants to make sure we got it.
Okay, so you can talk to me after
Yeah.
that.
So what we'll do is the very last thing I want to say is we do have social media, so our Instagram, our Facebook. Oh no, wait. I did not let Ms. Downs introduce herself. So yes, Ms. Downs. She's back there.
Hello, my name is Downs. I'm a parent coordinator. I'm a former parent. When I started off the Parent Association parent president, 6 years ago,
Thank you, Ms. Down. So what's going to happen now is we are going to break for a tour so that you can see the school. However, if you have specific questions, IEP, paperwork missing, where am I in the wait list, wherever the case may be, Laura is going to be up here. She will help you. So if you have any of those specific questions, you can come to the front and see Laura. And then Ms. Downs is going to take a group for a tour, and I will also take a group for a tour. If you have any individual questions for Ms. Chandler, Ms. Hazel, or Ms. D,